Hey everyone, this is Verdilot here, and today we have another Pokemon LBA match. And this match is against the California Carracostas, or led by Ellie. And they have 3 wins and 1 loss, and we have 4 wins. So we have a better record, but the record is also good. So Ellie is a really good player, but I wasn't the most worried because his Mega Evolution is Mega Scizor. And Mega Scizor is not really a threat to my team just because I have Arcanine and Skarmory on the team. But he also has Rotom Heat, which was a huge threat back when I had Mega Aggron, but I dropped Mega Aggron for Mega Latias. So it's just a complete wall to Rotom Heat. I think Modest, HP Ice, Choice Specs does 60% to Mega Latias when I'm uninvested in anything. So basically I can eat hits up, and he has to get the prediction right if he wants to go for HP Ice. So Arcanine Skarmory, like I said, stops Mega Scizor. And then also other than that, Latias actually has team advantage over his entire team. I can HP Fire Scizor, I can Dragon Pulse Mew until I win. Mew actually can do a lot of stuff, but let's skip that. So Rotom Heat, I can kill it with Dragon Pulse. I can kill Gliscor. I can kill Empoleon with T-Bolt, even though T-Bolt will not do much, but Empoleon can't do anything back except for Ice Beam, which will not hurt unless he's super invested. I can beat Gallade because both stabs are resisted, and Knockoff is only base 60 power since I'm holding the Mega Stone. Also Landorus I can be beaten with Ice Beam. So I had a lot of trouble just choosing the moveset for Mega Latias. I would have willingly sacrificed 2 members of my team. I would go into the battle 4 against 6 just if I can get more moves on Mega Latias, because Mega Latias has insane team advantage against him. But we'll see the battle, and we'll see how Ellie or Texto or California Carracostas handled this battle. So let's go. So the California Carracostas lead off with their Seismitoad, as I lead off with my Mienshao, as Mienshao puts in the pressure. And as we saw from the team preview, he actually did not bring the Mega Scizor, so I will not be... Arcanine is not really super useful, so I have an extra Death Fodder in this team. So I just go for Taunt against the Seismitoad because I thought it would be lead rocks. And then I went for Hidden Power Ice because I don't think he saw this Hidden Power Ice coming, and he can protect actually to scout out for it. So he goes for Knockoff, maybe predicting a switch, or I don't know, maybe thinking I don't know. He just probably predicted the switch. Knockoff doesn't do much. I go for Knockoff, which honestly is a misplay because this Gliscor survives the Knockoff. As he goes for Earthquake, and I barely survive, and at this turn the taunt ends, so I figured he's gonna protect and just waste my time. So I just decided to go into Latias because Latias can actually destroy him with Dragon Pulse, and he has no safe switch-ins for my Dragon Pulse except for the Empoleon, and I have T-Bolt and Empoleon. So basically this switch is just to give me more pressure on this team. So if I stayed in with Mienshao, I had to predict, should I HP Ice, should I High Jump Kick, should I whatever. But here I just keep on the pressure. So he goes for Protect again just to recharge some of his health. I really didn't expect him to stay in, hence why I went for Knockoff. I expected him to predict me to go for a High Jump Kick and go into Mismagius, but he did not. So I'll go for Dragon Pulse against this Gliscor as he sends in Empoleon. Take the hit pretty damn well and get the leftovers, but it's okay because I have T-Bolt, and like I said, this thing can't really touch me hard. So I'll go for a T-Bolt, and he decides to go for Skull. He did not set up the rocks, and I'm not so sure why. Maybe he thought getting the burn on Latias was important, or maybe he thought I would switch into something that counters this thing. So I'll go for another T-Bolt. T-Bolt takes him down, and he gets paralyzed, which is so unfortunate for him because he will not be able to get his rocks. So that's a 10% chance combined with 25% chance, so I was extremely lucky with this. Even though I personally believe that rocks do not affect my team. Therefore I brought Skarmory without defog as well. So I take him down with Dragon Pulse, and then he goes into his Mismagius, and I actually was so scared that this thing is Scarfed. If this thing wasn't Scarfed, I could have gone for Dragon Pulse, taken a Shadow Ball, and then Dragon Pulse again, and roost off against something that doesn't do a lot of damage, and probably Dragon Pulse his entire team. But I decided to switch out to Giacidao in case he wanted to go for Scarf Destiny Bond. So I go into Manju because, like I said, it's a Death Fodder because Scizor is not around, so I can do whatever I want with it. It's the most expandable member in the team. So I go for Flamethrower as Gliscor coming in, and Flamethrower does good damage since I'm a physically defensive Arcanine. And luckily I'm faster. We're both not invested in speed, but I think Arcanine peaks, or maybe it's a speed tie, I'm not sure. So Flamethrower, just take him out. The crit didn't matter, obviously. And then he goes into his Landorus, and I don't want to stay in and take an Earth Power, even though I could sacrifice Arcanine so easily. But I have a semi-safe switch in, which is Skarmory. Plus Skarmory isn't useful because he did not bring physical attackers. So he goes for U-turn, and Life Orb U-turn doesn't do much at all, actually. And then he goes into his Rotom, and this Rotom, I honestly was fearing the T-Bolt. Not the T-Bolt, the T-Wave. I didn't want my Latias getting T-Wave. So I went into Arcanine just to scout out what he goes into. So he goes for HP Ice, and I figured the HP Ice is the Choice Specs variant. So he's gonna switch into something to take the Flamethrower, or he might Volt Switch, because he could be something other than that. Either way, he will not go for HP Ice, it's extremely obvious. So I'll go into Garchomp, and he actually goes for HP Ice, which is really weird. I'm not sure if he was predicting me to stay, predicting me to switch, or maybe he just didn't want anything on his team to take a Flamethrower. So anyways, it works out pretty damn well for him. He gets a crit, which mattered in killing Garchomp, but didn't matter in the game because Garchomp was good against his team, but after taking 1 HP Ice, even if it's not a crit, I can be revenge killed easily. So go for Dragon Pulse, and this Seismitoad loses around 40%. And I'll go for another Dragon Pulse. I'm not afraid of this Seismitoad at all whatsoever. And it goes down to low red, and he goes for Icy Wind, and he does score a crit, which is surprisingly doesn't do anything. I mean, Latias is freaking bulky. But then again, Icy Wind is base 65, I think, base power, so I don't expect a lot from non-stab move. So go for another Dragon Pulse, taking this thing out. And at this point, his Mismagius, being scarfed or not, it's gonna outspeed me because of the Icy Wind. So I decided to switch out because I don't want to stay in and take a Shadow Ball from this range especially. So going to Manju, the Arcanine, as he goes for his Shadow Ball. So up to this point we did not see him switch moves whatsoever. So he still did not reveal if he's Sash or Scarf. And then I go for Flamethrower, I think. Yeah, most likely I went for Flamethrower as he goes into his Rotom, and Flamethrower does decent damage to this Rotom. Actually does decent damage considering that Rotom is a very bulky Pokemon. And at this point, he goes for Volt Switch. I stayed in because I figured, like I said, I don't want anything to take any hit on my team. So I just stayed in, and he goes into his Landorus, and I go for Flamethrower. And like I said, Skarmory is safe switching unless he has Focus Blast, and I wouldn't think he would predict and go for Focus Blast on Arcanine. So I switched out, go into my Skarmory, as he goes for Sludge Wave actually, so he was predicting maybe the Latias. Sludge Wave does not affect my Skarmory, and then he goes for Focus Blast, so he reveals the Focus Blast. Luckily, the Skarmory does live the Focus Blast as I set up the rocks, and the rocks will help me to see if that thing is Sash or not. He goes for Focus Blast and misses it. Now, this miss, it did not matter at all, even though I got a free Brave Bird off, but and now he can't switch from the rocks, which is why Brave Bird hurt him a bit. But if I go into Crawdaunt and he decides to switch into anything else will die from 2 Aqua Jets. Actually 1. Rotom Heat will die from 1 Aqua Jet, and Mismagius will die from 2, so he really can't switch out, so he would be forced to stay in even if he didn't take that Brave Bird. And Aqua Jet obviously kills even from like 80%. So it goes into his Rotom, which is really weird. I don't know why he went into Rotom. So just go for Aqua Jet and finish this thing off. And then he goes into his Mismagius, and Mismagius is his last member. So if he was Scarfed, he's forced to lock himself into Dazzling Gleam or T-Bolt. And this will not hurt Latias at all, or will not hurt Arcanine as well if he goes for Dazzling Gleam. So the match is mine, guaranteed, but right now we reveal if my Paranoia played a part of the game or not. So I go just into Latias, and then I go for Dragon Pulse. Turns out that I'm faster, so I could have won against this thing very early on instead of taking that long U-turn. But nonetheless, actually Texture played really well and made some solid predictions. And unfortunately, he got unfortunate with the crits and stuff, so it could have been like a 2-0 or something. But regardless, he played a solid game, even though I really don't blame him that he lost. He does not have team advantage whatsoever. Like, team advantage is a fact, and sometimes you just can't do anything about it unless you draft something, and he did not draft any Pokemon for me, so So yeah, I had complete team advantage against him, and if I gave him my 3DS and I took his, he would win, obviously, because Mega Latias just shut down his entire team except for Scissor, and I put HP Fire, and that's what I did, so he can't really beat Latias. So I guess, yeah, this will be a good game. See you later, guys.